Hey, konnichiwa everyone. Sorry, I'll speak in English. My Japanese is not so good. I give lots of presentations about the global goals in schools, universities, sometimes corporations as well, businesses. And I always start with this question of what is a global citizen? Because it's a very tricky question. It's not an easy question. And the thing is that there isn't one answer. And there isn't really a right answer and a wrong answer. I always encourage my audiences to try to discover within themselves what it means to them in a very practical sense. For me, when I was 18 years old, I'm from Australia, once upon a time ago. But when I was 18 years old, I worked in Nagoya, in Panyasan de arubaito shimashita. And for me, I grew up in Australia and I was meant to go to university, then get a job and get a house and da-da-da. But instead I worked in a bakery in Japan. I didn't speak Japanese and I didn't know how to make bread. But when I learnt, then my whole world became much bigger. And so when my world became much bigger, I then decided that really I can do anything I want. I didn't grow up wanting to work in a Japanese bakery, but it just happened. And so for the last 15 years, I've been extremely lucky to be in more than 85, 90 countries in the world. And I've just gone and traveled from place to place and worked with many different organizations, mainly with UNICEF, Gates Foundation, and then many, many others. And my conclusion after this 15 years before I came to ICU as a student is that we are all global citizens. No matter who we are, where we are, we're all one people on the same planet. So the biggest question for me is how to be a good one. So what can we do? What are the things that we can do on a daily basis that contribute positively to be an active and effective global citizen? And that's kind of what I think about all the time and that I go and share with my audiences. And I think we're extremely lucky to have this framework of the global goals. Now, I don't call it the SDGs because that confuses people who might not have heard of them before. So I always call them the global goals. So my target audience isn't really people in this room. It's the people who don't know about these goals. And so I tend to explain them very easily. I say that we're trying to achieve 3 major things with this set of 17 goals. We're going to try and end extreme poverty, of which there's a definition for. We're going to try and reduce inequality, people that have access to a lot, people that have access to a little, and reduce that inequality. We're going to try and protect the planet. And the wonderful thing is that we have a global plan to do this. So no matter who you are and where you live, we share the same framework and same set of goals. And so when I go and give these talks, then the first question that everyone asks me is, well, what can I do? How can I help change the world? How do I end extreme poverty? If you're here at ICU in Japan, then you might not think that you're very well connected to sub-Saharan Africa or other places. And so in order to answer that, I created a concept. It's basically a concept called teaspoons of change. So, 一人一人の小さな変化が人々と地球を変えていくというです。And the idea is this, is that our personal choices, decisions and actions can have a positive impact on people and the planet. So I've worked for many organizations that are about helping other people, UNICEF, UNESCO, Gates Foundation, very good at helping other people, but also we can double our impact in the actions that we take on a daily basis. I kind of compare it to like a piece of paper. Using one side of a piece of paper is good, that's pretty normal, that's great, but using both sides of a piece of paper is so much better. And we have that potential in all of us to double our impact in the world. It's also a teaspoon of change, using both sides of a piece of paper. So I try and give people very practical, tangible, relevant and realistic small things to do on a daily basis. Reducing water consumption, as with the lazy person's guide, I prefer to be a more active person than a lazy person. And so I give people lots of different ideas and often they create their own. When I was sharing this concept in Japan, I walked from Hokkaido to Nagoya because I worked in Panyasan in Nagoya and I was a teacher in Hokkaido. And on my walk, I gave these presentations and people created their own teaspoons of change. My favorite one was from a Japanese student who said, "Mai hashi." They always take their own chopsticks when they go to dinner instead of using waribashi and then throwing away. So even me, I always carry my hashi on me when I go out to dinner. And there's a very simple formula for this, is that any action, even small actions, multiplied by lots of people, can and will create big change. And this is so teaspoons of change is really a mindset. If we think that the things that we do in our own life can make a difference, then it creates more context. So CSR programs in businesses use this a lot because it gives them the context that they need at a personal action and to fit back in within the global goals at the macro level. So trying to work at both of those levels. And so we do all of this so that we can see a poverty-free world for everyone, everywhere, and forever. And this is the idea. And with teaspoons of change, I always make sure that it relates to something and someone. This is a young Afghan refugee girl in Pakistan, and I worked in polio eradication, and I gave her 2 drops. And so whenever I carry my hashi, or I ride my bicycle, or I don't buy bottled water, or whatever it is, I always think that my teaspoon of change is somehow directly related to this young Afghan refugee girl. And so this is what I share with many audiences. I'll keep it brief there. There are lots of different workshops and models and things that I use. But if you would like to know more, then feel free to get in touch. And I work very closely with the Sustainable Development Goals, also with UNICEF in Sub-Saharan Africa and many other places as well. And I'm a student here at ICU since September on the Rotary Peace Fellowship Program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.